guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are Sean Diddy Combs, you are having the worst day ever. First of all, you are begging the judge not for a 2-week, but a 2-month extension. Why? Well, there's a number of reasons, and we think we found the biggest one. One, Diddy wants more time because Diddy needs more time. Two, Cassie would be heavily pregnant. However, if they go to trial in May, Cassie will have the baby if they go to trial in August or September, so they don't have to worry about a beautiful pregnant woman crying her eyes out on the stand. However, the biggest thing that legal people are saying is the reason why Diddy wants this extended is because remember Little Rod's lawsuit? Yeah, the one so many people said was going to be dismissed, the one that said, oh my God, the one that Diddy's lawyers were like, this is a travesty. There's no truth. Well, remember Little Rod's lawsuit? Remember that funny thing about there was somebody named G who was in the bathroom at a recording studio where Little Rod slept in the kitchen. And I believe it was Justin, Diddy, and G walked into the bathroom. Gunshots rang out. Little Rod woke up so scared. Justin and Diddy left. Little Rod went in the bathroom, saw G out all over the place, literally called the ambulance, carried him out. It was carnage and everything, put him in the ambulance. The police showed up. Little Rod cited that in his lawsuit, and then they asked for the LAPD's report. The LAPD just released an 18-page report with no mention of any carnage or anyone that actually got shot. Y'all, let's get into this because let's get this. The LAPD reports cops, the LAPD, I'm gonna get this report, shows cops didn't question Sean Diddy Combs after the 2022 shooting. So get this, everybody agrees there was a shooting. Everybody believes there was carnage. However, Diddy was not questioned at all. Let's get into this. Producer Little Rod Jones Jr. says he was 2 feet away from a closed bathroom door inside Sean Diddy Combs' Los Angeles music studio, Chalice Studios, when shots rang out on September 12, 2022. When the door opened, Diddy and his son, Justin Dior Combs, allegedly walked out, leaving a third man bleeding on the floor in a fetal position with bang-bang wounds. Okay? Rodney Jones says he rushed in, put pressure on the wound to the victim's torso, and lifted him onto the toilet seat, instructing the assembled crowd to call 911. He then carried the victim, a musician named G, to the front of Chalice Recording Studios to await an ambulance. Now, they said G did survive. Photos included in the suit show blood dripping from a toilet seat down the side of the bowl, more of the blood on the floor, and clothing strewn on and near the toilet, and stained and crumpled toilet paper, or what is this? Stained or crumpled paper towels. Rodney Jones says he still has the clothing he was wearing that day, which may still have the victim's DNA on it. But, and again, he has photos. They are timestamped. There was an ambulance that came. So it happened. We're not debating whether it happened. There's more than enough evidence and procedural stuff to show it happened. But get this. But an 18-page Los Angeles Police Department report of the shooting, exclusively obtained by USA Today, makes no mention of the bloody scene. Instead, it shows that the police focused their efforts on an altercation outside the studio. The report paints a far different picture from the one described in Rodney Jones' lawsuit and raises questions about what really happened. Did the shooting follow an argument among the 3 men inside the building, as Rodney said, or was it the result of an attempted robbery outside that had nothing to do with the music mogul, as the police report indicates? Now, really quick, that couldn't have been true. Because if somebody was robbed outside, Chalice Studios has, when you walk in, first you have to be buzzed into the main gate. Then when you're buzzed into the main gate, you go to the front door. The front door, you still don't see anything. You have to be buzzed in through intercom system. They buzz you in. This is all bulletproof glass. You walk into a little holding area, right? 2 doors. You're speaking to a receptionist behind bulletproof glass. You have to tell them where you were going, who was going to be expected, what about, you have to give all this information. They then call back to the studio okay everything. You have to show ID, and then once that's done, they buzz you in. Once you get buzzed in a third time, you walk down a long corridor. There's different recording studios. They all have separate locks, and then there's a common area and a kitchen. There's no way somebody that got shot outside in the torso will walk all that way and could come through Chalice Studios without it actually being on camera. Okay? They said, according to Rodney Jones, Diddy insisted that he tell the police that G had been shot in a drive-by outside, rather after a heated conversation. In a letter to Rodney Jones' lawyer, Tyrone A. Blackburn, which was filed as an exhibit in the case, attorney Jonathan Davis called Rodney Jones' allegations bold-faced lies, saying Mr. Combs and his son were never suspects, never investigated, and never interviewed by the police. The police report obtained by USA Today confirms that Diddy was inside the studio when the shooting occurred, but it doesn't list him or his son among the people questioned. Tyrone Blackburn says there's a reason for that. He says that we said from the beginning this was a huge cover up. Again, now that this 18-page report has come back out, Jonathan Davis did not return any telephone calls to any reporters, and one of Diddy's lead civil attorneys, Eric A. Wolf, did not immediately return phone or email messages. A spokesman for the LA Police Department said detectives were unavailable and told the reporter when they tried to get more information to file a records request. The shooting victim could not be reached. However, they said that they do know who it is, but they're not publishing his name because he was a victim of a violent crime. You guys, this is huge. This is huge. Why is this? Because at the end of the day, this isn't the first time that Diddy hasn't been involved in something like this. You know, the one time that's named in Cassie's lawsuit that Diddy agrees to, I'll tell you, when Kid Cudi, y'all remember, and his car got kaboom, okay? It was a bomb in a car in a residential neighborhood, a good part of residential neighborhood in Los Angeles. The police came, the fire department came. Nobody was arrested. There was no reports named, and nothing happened. People are saying that one of the reasons Diddy was able to wreak havoc on the West Coast is because he had ends with the local police. There were people that were willing to be paid to cover up. Now, I don't know if the LAPD individual police officers were taking payoffs. I do know that there is a certain video of Cassie literally being treated subhuman, okay? And that was paid for, I think, 100,000 from one of those hotels. It makes you think, with Diddy having so much money, how many more people did he actually pay off? Okay. Really quick, yeah, listen, at the end of the day, we will see what is going on. There is a report that some gang members said that they shot G. However, little Rodney Jones has evidence. He has photos, which he put in a lawsuit, and he has proof. Again, Diddy is supposed to be connected with both sides of the street wars. Again, this story's developing, but one thing that is true, the evidence exists. And the fact that the police have no evidence at all, it makes you think what really is going on and if Attorney Blackburn is right. And this is one huge cover up. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.